like a loyal Kana. Oh, I got my cellophane. I got my dead in the beat of the cellophane.
February 14th is the day that I left you. But when I left you, did I actually leave you? Yeah.
March the 5th, that's when we had the real differences.
Fifth. More like March the 4th. You got the day wrong.
Actually, come to think about it, it was in fact the 4th, and I was wrong that last time.
March the 4th. March the 4th.
It all happened on March the 4th. No, wait, it was the 5th. I just thought about it again.
Actually happened on March the 5th. It was a Wednesday, if I remember.
I'll never forget that day, yeah.
I think we could make a hit song out of any lyrics.
I think so.
You need to now try and make a hit soulful song about being halfway through your beer, but you're drinking so slowly you're scared that your male friends think you're gay.
I'm trying to enjoy my beer right now, but I know my friends are looking at me. They're thinking, what a fucking pansy. He can drink his beer quickly, but they're wrong to think that of me. I'm just trying to take my time with it. But maybe I'm gay.
Maybe he's gay.
Maybe he's gay.
Hello everyone, welcome to Boys Gone Wild. That was just us. That's sort of behind the scenes of what happens.
Every planning sesh. 5 minutes before the podcast.
Yes. So, welcome to the show. Don't know what episode this is, but this is a week off for Andrew, so he's in holiday mode. Holiday droop.
No, actually, I should have leaned into that a bit more.
Yeah, you really should have.
I should have gone shorts, Hawaiian top.
The week off droop.
I mean, there's still time.
Welcome back with Holiday Drew.
Hey, it's the weekend.
He's just realised it's his week off, and then bang, he's changed clothes. Because the thing is normally we do this after your work, so that you're in a state where you're not really fit to perform.
No,
because you're too tired and you're just kind of burning your way through. And then finally
as all the previous podcasts I've ever shown is how you're trying to say. Every single one. It's been a horror show. And
we occasionally get weeks off, and we can make the most of having to be able to start a reasonable hour, be able to plan, and you're hungover and drunk, which is the which is the problem. If he's not working,
I'm drinking.
He's out late night twerking.
Well, yeah, no, it's been a quite intense 4 days. There's too many pals to see, too many places to visit.
Yeah,
going off and around the country,
running away from
problems,
demons
and stresses and things I don't ever want to address.
Yes.
And the weird dog that keeps coming to my door.
Yeah,
running away from him.
You got a dog that comes to your door?
Yeah.
Is that a metaphor for depression?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the depressed dog.
Dark though. That's dark.
Danny the depressed dog.
But yes, it's quite offensive that last episode was by far the biggest hits we've had.
Pardon the pun.
Oh yeah. But we asked for a royal pardon for that pun, please.
If the Queen could give the stamp of approval for it, we request the pardon.
But yeah, or Prime Minister when leaving office.
Yep.
They're given rights to at least four
pardons
at the pardon.
Yeah, and we're cashing in one of ours now. After in anticipation of us becoming Prime Minister.
Yes.
Joint Prime Minister.
No, that wasn't what I was saying.
Yeah,
I was saying the Prime Minister would pardon us.
Oh, I thought you was okay. Yeah, I misunderstood.
I don't think the Prime Minister would pardon his own.
I thought the Prime Minister, when he resigns from office, is given 5 royal pardons to then as service for your country.
You're allowed to make as many puns. Five puns. Both good. But yes, it seems the only way to get because we got 3 times as many views is if we open with a big thumbnail with your face like a bruised banana.
Is this what you want?
Yeah,
because we'll do it. Well, if Horatio could send me off every Friday night to get in a fight, and then I'll just come back on the Wednesday when we film different stages of battered and bruised. You know, some will be worse. So I can rate people's hits, rate how well they can beat me up.
I think it'd be funny if just each episode you get in more like a bigger cast.
Yeah.
By the end, you can't even hear you because you're covered in paper mache.
Yeah, and it's
literally like the Michelin
with
man.
a straw coming out to breathe. The thing about chocolate bars is, so yeah, we could do that. Mate, it's odd how people are attracted to violence in that way. You should always be ashamed of yourselves. Maybe look in the mirror before you look at my face.
Yeah. I think it's been a heavy week of reflection for everyone. I think everyone was horrified and they started thinking, wow, what if that was me getting punched in the face? And that's the joy that we bring.
That's what I was thinking as well. Because I had concussion and didn't.
But yeah, and also we've been getting a lot of messages in from friends who were at the event.
Yeah.
The kind of the sort of self-importance of some of our friends who kind of think that this podcast is sort of namely about them. What
they think is like a log of different events that happened, including every single person that was minorly involved in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we've received a lot of messages. Well, you missed this part out of the story. Funnily enough, that part of the story included them.
Yeah. And they constantly saying like, why don't you mention this? Why don't you mention me? And it's like, we this is never about you.
This is not about
you. It's about siphoning down the story to benefit us financially. And it's always ever been about that. It's about whittling down an anecdote so it's like a razor sharp financial bullet that we can fire into our own brains.
We're trying to monetize content, not give you name drops.
Exactly. We're trying to move away from this just being like 15 of our friends who all listen in. That's a horrifying
They don't listen anyway.
That's my biggest... Yeah, they don't listen. They listen maybe if they think that we... You know what? It's literally like... They're thinking that we're retelling our dreams.
Yeah.
And they'll only
and the only reason they'll listen is if they know that they'll have a part in the story, and then they're upset that they're not in the story.
Exactly.
And I'm not even going to name these people because we'd be giving them what they want.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to name one who listens very regularly, Ruby, but then she asked to move the podcast date to fit into with her schedule.
I rate the audacity of that. As in, she's a golden BGW fan.
Sure.
So if you don't ask, you don't get. I mean, it was obviously a hard no, and it was a very audacious ask. But why the fuck not? Like, can you just release it on a completely different day? And just because she wasn't going home from work that day. She had a day off.
I mean, yeah, because I think a huge anxiety for me with anything I make is the idea that I like strangers listening to it, and I like people who I'll never meet, ideally, enjoying it, and I like going into a stranger's home. The idea that it's like friends and family watching, it makes us seem quite special needs.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It looks like we're being humoured.
Yeah, I hate it.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Isn't that lovely? I hate
a like.
If I post something and the majority of the likes are from people I know well, it feels like it's like this is like a school play.
Yeah.
And loads of family and friends like, that's adorable, holding like a big iPad in front of their face, going, look at them go.
They're cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, because with the strangers, like, there could never be any ulterior motive. It's pure. Just I like that. That's funny. Whereas
there could be because there's also some dark. I think some people are coming to you. They're objectifying you. They're here for your body.
For my body.
Here for your mind.
Yeah. Do you think that's maybe why we got so many views as well? Because it was the beginning of the destruction. So
it's
let's
true.
see it for them.
It's true, and it's like you'd think, Andrew's often had Andrew probably has brought in some more female listeners and has had a big impression on a lot of them sexually. I think it's been a sexual awakening for a lot of young women, and I say young as a warning.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I hate that this happens to me all the time, but I'm so bad at going red nowadays.
Look at it, he's got so red.
I've gone red.
But then I'd think
you gone red you've gone redder?
No, I go red, but not out of
embarrassment. Is that sympathy redness?
No, I go red.
Do you not go red out of embarrassment? No, I hate that I have that.
It's true. It's one of your biggest.
It's so annoying because you're just suddenly, and there's no hiding it because I'm like, yep.
Yeah, but then I go red for kind of more just like my body regulating its own heat, and then if I'm wearing like a jumper and I can't get it off in time, then I'm red for the rest of the day.
And after one beer, it blows the fuck up.
So it's only ever a biological thing.
Yeah.
But I thought after you getting munted in the face and looking the ugliest you've ever looked, like for a couple of periods, that was the worst. I thought it'd turn it off, but there's some people messaging saying still a hottie for me. So there's still you're still.
Can you message me that instead? I never, because he doesn't tell me these things.
And then I'll see all these girls messaging, and then I'll see their Instagram, and I'll see the one follower is that you followed in because you don't quite understand the etiquette of Instagram.
No, that's
you're not meant to follow them.
You're not. Is that because I really don't understand that? I feel rude.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's really quite sweet actually.
I feel really bad.
There's just random people messaging in, and then I'll look at the thing and it's like, of course, Andrew's followed them because he still thinks it's like the first day at school where people are following and you're
first day at school. Why not?
No, you can't. That's a dangerous road. That's how this podcast ends.
Oh.
This is when I look into the future. It's going to be one of those.
What are you talking
connections.
About? A scandal or?
I think so. It's just not. It's never a good look.
No,
you know.
No.
And seeing the way that you know. Seeing the way that kind of celebrities get treated, where they're like, "Oh, I was just being this," you know, I'm a, you know, doesn't work. So,
well, I wise up. As I say, my Instagram etiquette and ideas, understanding of it is incredibly poor. With that point, is I think when your friend gets punched, a man or something with a disfigured face, of course, it looks hilarious and obscene, ugly even to you as it would.
Gross, yeah, it is the worst. You did genuinely awful.
Yeah, of course,
bad,
of course.
Bad.
But there's
like
something.
You were 3 out of 10. It was gross.
Do you think a 3?
It was so bad.
A 3.
What? When so
the swollen one?
Yeah. Or like literally like a gnarled pear in a fruit.
But then it's not about the aesthetic; it's about the implication of how you got that aesthetic. So it's more like. Because what I've enjoyed with it is walking down the street and I'm still getting way too long looks on from people, from passers-by.
And you take social faux pas a lot more to heart.
Really hard.
You take it
I've shouted at people for walking incorrectly in the street when they've cut, because it's just fucking rude. You're just being selfish.
You don't like people looking through your window. You just have a really take the small things.
Because I hold myself to high standards of that, so fuck you if I'm not going to hold the rest of the world to them. But there's been a lot of staring, which is fair. We're obviously worse when it was unbelievably swollen. But this is the only time in my life I've looked properly hard as nails. So I've really enjoyed as in catching someone else's eye and then just staring them down, and they will always back off first now.
Because you've got girls who I think are scared and a little bit turned on, and you've got geezers who are like, respect.
Yeah, what, mate?
Respect.
Yeah, not fucking with you, right? What?
But otherwise, have you had a good week?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been fine. It's been slowly going down. It's nearly gone, I think. We had some worries about the nose.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be all right.
We think we'll be fine.
Yeah. I haven't taken these plasters off yet because that's keeping my skin together to stop it scarring.
Hopefully not keeping your nose together.
Yeah.
Just take it off.
But yeah, I think we're getting there. And I've now into the phase of enjoying it, you know. As I say, just for the hard lookingness of it. And meeting new people, I had to go to a new vape shop, as I said, but gaining a new respect from the vape shop owner because it was the first time I met him. So now every time I go to that vape shop,
you've got that in the bag.
I've got that in the bag. So I've been trying to go to loads of new different retailers and kind of switch up my shopping habits to get a better name around the country.
You're in Cap Kitson.
Yeah.
And they're like, I respect that, man.
You got any tea posies? Too right you do. Bring them over.
Oh, 3 tea posies.
Is a tea posy a thing? I think
that is. That's a good one. Is it tea cozy?
Cozy, yeah.
Tea cozy.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's that. We can move on from it fully now. We're all good. But there's been a problem in that with in a moderately darker time.
Yeah.
When the swelling was starting to heal, I was working. I thought I'm going to earn a cheeky midday delivery.
Yeah.
I'd never done it before, and I thought this was the time to do it.
Sure.
Nothing crazy, just a frappuccino. Because it's not even a frappuccino.
That is indulgent, though.
Heck yeah, it's indulgent.
Because it's like nothing crazy, and you're applying because of the lack of things, but the lack of items is what makes it crazy.
Exactly.
Because you're like a fucking Greek emperor.
Yeah. Summoning my minions.
Summoning one frappuccino.
And whipped cream on the top.
It costs as much as the delivery fee.
Oh, exactly. So that was, of course, it was an indulgent time, but I thought I earned it. And so I timed it perfectly for halfway through my shift. I'm going to address this to the camera instead of you, actually, because I'm still shocked about this. I did it midway through my shift and had it perfectly timed so it would come just on my lunch break. Great, they accepted the order. The frappuccino was being whipped up and prepared.
Sure.
Then I see the delivery driver picks it up. Great, we're on time. We're on schedule here. I'm saying to Adam how great the timing of this has been. This is going to be perfect. I see him pick it up. It's in a car. Starbucks isn't very far away. Bit disappointing, but, I'm being audacious.
Wait, you mean the Starbucks right up the road?
That one, yes.
Literally, Jesus.
Yes, the Starbucks right up the road, yeah. So they picked it up in a car. Seemed unnecessary because often I will order a takeaway which is like 10 miles away and it's picked up on a bicycle.
Yeah.
But they haven't seemed to quite nail that yet.
They got a 4-wheel drive to come drop it off.
Yeah. So it's then on its way in the car. I'm tracking it and I'm seeing it go down English Street, which is not the road we live on. I've never seen English Street, to be honest, but it's somewhere up there. I seen drive to the end of the road, which is clearly a dead end, and then pause for a bit. That's fine, sometimes people get lost. We can't all be right.
That happens with delivery.
It does. And then left it for a minute, and then it just suddenly went, delivered. Your item has been delivered. Like, okay, sometimes the app malfunctions. I'm sure it hasn't been delivered, because that would be insane. So then, I give him 5 minutes. Gave him 5 minutes. As, English Street is only down the road from us, so he would get here in 5 minutes. But I didn't want to be the angry customer who's going too quickly into it. So where's my frappuccino at, man?
Sure.
But then after 5 minutes, I had no contact from him whatsoever, and the app was still just saying delivered. So I gave him a call. You can call the rider directly. Gave him a call. I went, "Hi, mate. I'm waiting for my frappuccino. It's saying delivered, but alas, here I am without a frappuccino." Keep it friendly.
Yeah.
And
like, what do you? I don't understand.
In fairness, he went,
"Why are you saying alas?
What is your stupid face?
What is alas?"
So he then went, honestly, nonsense. I went, "I'm sorry. What did you just say?" And he went, "Well, I've delivered it." And I went, "Oh, so you actually have delivered it? That wasn't an app error?" He went, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, I haven't got it, and I'm standing at my house. I'm standing out. I left it at the door." So I was like, "Okay, give me a minute." And then I went out, opened the door. There's no frappuccino. So I went, "Well, I've just left my house. I'm now standing outside my door, and there's no frappuccino." And he goes, well. And I went, "We need to take 5 here and work out what the fuck is happening." And then I went, "What address did it say on the app?"
Yeah.
And he then took a minute to get the address up.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, why is it so difficult to find the address that you were just delivering to? Because he probably didn't put it in at all. But then he then read it back to me, and I went, "Okay, well, that's my address." But there isn't a frappuccino here. And what can happen on the app is that it can take off the door number sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, that's been a problem on the app frequently, and the majority, I'd say 99.5% of delivery drivers would probably get to the street which they were meant to go.
1 in 200.
1 in 200 wouldn't.
Wouldn't. Whatever you were saying.
Yeah.
I was agreeing.
Yeah, cool.
I wasn't staking the conflict.
Yeah. Why are you fighting me?
I'm agreeing, carry on.
Why are you fighting me on that?
Ignore me.
So, the 99.5% of delivery drivers would get to that street and perhaps call the person and said, "There doesn't seem to be a door number on here. What door number do you live at?" But no, this man decided to go to English Street, which isn't our street. And then I then said, "So where did you leave it?" And his response was, "At a white door." At a white door. At a white door. I said, "What number was that door?" He said, "I don't know." And I said, "Do you do this often? Is this something that you frequently do, of just leave people's frappuccinos around London without any regard for where they're actually meant to be delivered to?" And he went, "My job's just to go to the postcode." I said, "I'm afraid it's not, sir."
It's not.
I'm afraid that is not your job at all. Because it just would have worked. Several houses at the same postcode. So do you think it's just acceptable to deliver neighbours' food to neighbours and then they'll just sort it out after? But what he's done is left a frappuccino on the street.
Yeah.
And that's that.
I can't believe that he's literally there's just a vague... I like that approach to delivering, that you just have a vague net within where the house might be.
Yeah,
and you just put it
on the side.
And
just not say anything.
It worked once.
Yeah.
I've delivered a lot. Once it worked.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen often.
And then, to not call me or anything.
But didn't he give you quite a lot of stick as well?
Yeah, he was not very apologetic. Not at all. And... yeah, because I rang him and I said, "What?" I was just confused. And then because I only got angry because he was just being nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not my job.
Yes.
You're a delivery driver.
So what was the resolution and what was he like?
He said, "Well, you have to go through the app and say what happened." And I was like,
so he asked you to do a complaint?
No, so you can go on like delivery apps, you can say my order didn't arrive or something, and they I got a refund, but I didn't want a refund. I just wanted to take this further.
But then also there's going to be the person on English Street with the white door would have just opened their door and just seen
a Frappuccino.
Which is really strange.
One
Frappuccino.
Unsettling.
Untouched.
Yeah,
it's not someone threw a Frappuccino, full whipped cream Frappuccino.
What?
Maybe in a little bag with the receipt and everything it would as well.
Listen, it really would be. And it's a shame because I was like, at least someone else would enjoy that Frappuccino. And I was like, I wouldn't drink that Frappuccino.
No, you can't. If it's like a little bag.
Yeah, you can't drink that Frappuccino.
I probably would. I'd have a taste. I'd have a little taste.
No, it's too risky out there.
Yeah.
But, so we got that. But, so with delivery orders, I didn't give them a bad review, though. It's kind of one of those things I think I'll never be able to give someone a thumbs down. It's like on an Uber, giving someone anything other than 5-star, you just can't do it. Even though that man deserves it.
Definitely. Because, I mean, if there's any... It feels bad because everyone who's delivering is hustling and you don't want, to give their bosses any more leverage in exploiting them.
Exactly.
But is there a level where...
Well, I think that would have been it. I think that
the workers' rights guy in you just goes like, I'm sorry.
Fuck it.
The customer needs to be a tiny bit right sometimes.
Because I remember I hovered over the thumbs up, thumbs down for a long time. And I just delete it. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to leave it. But I've actually been a Just Eat delivery driver.
Yeah, so you have a bit of...
So this isn't coming from a guy who doesn't know the trade.
Yeah.
You've
been around the block.
Yeah, I used to cycle courier for Just Eat in Leamington Spa.
Yeah.
And it's a tough gig out there. But what the biggest problem is with a delivery driver is, for me when it was happening, I like a takeaway. By the way, I never got the Frappuccino.
What happened?
I just left it because it was like after. But then
it was already a bold order.
Exactly.
And if you're having to think again about it,
yeah. Sometimes you have to listen to the universe. And I moved on. But when I was being a Just Eat delivery driver, I was obsessed with GBK. But particularly their Oreo milkshakes. Sure. They are fantastic, fantastic. And for some reason, the only restaurant I ever delivered from was GBK.
Yeah.
And the thing about being a delivery driver at uni part-time is you don't have any money to afford the takeaways that you're delivering to other people.
It's true, yeah.
And having for the amount of Oreo milkshakes that I fucking delivered was obscene. And is something that really cuts deep into your soul of not being able to afford those for the money.
Did you have any sort of socialising with other delivery? Because I know the Deliveroo drivers were like a gang. They're always hanging out. But the Just Eat guys I never saw having... I never
saw one person in the relation to that company once whatsoever.
Really?
Not one. At any point.
That's what the future of work's going to be. Yeah. Is you're going to apply online, you're never going to meet anyone, you're going to be told where to be and where to do, and then you'll go home.
It was honestly it. Emails... And that was it. And then occasionally you'd see someone go past on the Just Eat, like if they were on their bikes or something.
Yeah.
But you can't just kind of flag them down because I just looked like a bystander. I didn't have my Just Eat bag.
You can't.
I also do. Because if I was just fuck off.
No one cares. So do you think, knowing what it's like being on the bike, do you think that how often do you think delivery drivers steal food?
I think it's a lot more than you'd expect, and because
there's often missing food.
Yeah,
that happens a lot, and you'd assume that's just a restaurant error all the time.
Yeah. Now I don't want to engage in libel. Okay, this is a second-hand story, but I was telling my friend that story the other day, and she said that her friend from uni used to.
Okay, so this is a lot of different.
This story's gone through a lot of different stuff.
Yeah,
but she was there at the time, so it is kind of from her. But allegedly.
She's also a pathological liar.
She is. She's also the person who was complaining to us about not mentioning
she's a psychopathic narcissist.
So maybe she's played me perfectly, just to try and get her name on the show.
Which we won't mention.
We're not going to mention the name. So she said that they had a couple of friends that working at one of the big delivery chains. And then at the end of their shift, if they got a massive order, they'd used to just take it home.
Really?
Yeah. But I think they must, and then just have it.
So,
and then I think you can say a button like wasn't able to deliver or like restaurant didn't do it or something,
and then they refund.
Yeah, they'll get rid.
Wait, it's on their last order of the night.
Yeah, they'll just take it home.
Because I saw like a Sun article a while back about this delivery driver who like sent this message basically saying, "Sorry, got hungry, on the way, and I ate your delivery."
You know what? 5 star for the rating of the honesty.
I ate it all, and I think he'd probably I think he'd gone in with just like having some chips, and then he just thought,
you know what?
Yeah, and I think there was apparently like 2 burgers in there, and he just did it all, and he was just like, I'm sorry, I just did. So I think that would happen a lot.
Yeah, and you got to rate the honesty in these situations. If I think I'd laugh too much to be angry if you got a text from them. Sorry, mate, I ate all your food. I'd be like, fair enough. Have a good one. See you later. 5-star review.
5 stars. 5 stars.
5 stars.
But you've also, I don't think have you told the Domino's delivery story?
What's that?
You know, when the pizza arrived.
Oh my God! I can't believe that. I've had right. So
You've had a bit of kind of a mare with delivery drivers.
Yeah, I was very hungover at one point, and when I was back at my mum's house, and then I woke up and I felt fine when I woke up in bed, and then decided to sign up for overtime at work because I got too cocky with how well I was feeling. So I thought I'd just do 2 hours at the end of the day, and then as soon as I stood up, it all went downhill. I felt horrendous. So then I ordered a Domino's to kind of offset that, and then fell asleep on the sofa.
Here, isn't
there is, of course, there's a pattern. Of course, this isn't a myth. But
illness, fighting, drunk, hungover, compensate with a delivery driver.
My life isn't that much of a mystery to unpick.
A lot of beer, a lot of Domino's, and a constant cycle.
And then it just goes round. But so I ordered it, and then couldn't eat it because I was feeling too ill, and then had to sleep, and then went up to do my overtime like 5 hours later.
5 hours?
Better. Yeah. And then woke up to go and do my overtime 5 hours later. And then thought, oh, great. Feeling better. Now's the time to have the Domino's. I opened the box. There was no cheese on the pizza. There was no cheese on the pizza. And I rang them and said, at first I rang my friend actually and was like, can you just confirm for me there's no cheese on this pizza? Because when you have no cheese on a pizza that's been delivered to you, you do second guess yourself thinking, this is such an insane thing that can happen. Surely I might be making this up or being wrong here. Yeah. He confirmed, no, there's no cheese on that pizza. I then rang them, and again, not apologetic enough, but it was also because it's a bit, for them, we delivered this pizza to you 5 hours ago. And then 5 hours later, you're ringing us and saying there's no cheese on it. Like,
it does seem like you've made that up.
It does. Because I was like, I'm as shocked as you are, pal. Don't get me wrong. And I was like,
it does seem like you've ordered a pizza in the middle of the day and realised, fuck, I can't pay for this shit.
Yeah.
There was no cheese on it.
There was nothing on it. But, yeah, they did give me a refund for that. But that was... Yeah, but on the Domino's delivery thing... It says, which has now been clear, that it's a lie because on that little wheel, it says quality check. How did that get through quality check? Surely it passes a lot of hands.
Yeah.
And someone must have realised.
Well, it was one person's job.
Hold on, guys.
There was a guy on the cheese station.
Do you think?
There was, because I've seen it being made, and it's like, it's kind of grueling seeing how easy it is for them to make Domino's and how expensive the pizza is, if you think about it. Like, without 2 for Tuesday, they can charge up to like almost 20 quid for a large thing.
Not
and just seeing how they just throw it in and it literally takes them like 50, they can make it like that.
Yeah.
But everyone's got a different station. So there's a cheese guy at the chease station, and he was clearly talking to someone else, just moved it on.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't show up for work that day. Maybe everyone in that radius just didn't have cheese on their pizza.
And they didn't think of a way around it. They're like,
well, we'll see if that... Hopefully we don't get any complaints. But then the cheese guy came in 5 hours later, so that was why it was all fixed.
Okay, so now we talked about the main thing of the show, what's happened in the week, because deliveries obviously is the most important thing, but
the meat and drink.
There's a fair bit's happened.
Let's get into the potatoes and
Israel Palestine, real quick. Whose side are you on?
Palestine.
Palestine.
Are you?
I'm Palestine as well.
Okay, that's good.
Cool.
Just good to check it
Let's
out.
just put that as a tick.
Is it offensive if we do the dead takes?
If we do the what?
If we do the really bad takes about Israel Palestine.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think we'll leave that.
So since last week's episode, Bill and Melinda Gates got divorced.
They've split the knot. Untied the knot.
Untied the knot.
Does that work?
Did that mean anything to you? That was a big news story. What did that mean to you? Because the annoying thing, sometimes talking topical with you, is that you seem to like not only have apathy, but you have aggressive apathy. Where
I really don't care.
You know, we as a podcast, we should discuss what's happening, and you often say,
"Yeah." Well, no, I don't often say it because I know that we have to do that, and it takes every might of my being to talk about something that I'm just not interested in and pretend to have a take on something.
Yeah.
Why do they get divorced would be my interesting one.
It hasn't come out yet, but they seem like quite a rock solid foundation. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that's giving toilets in Africa.
Lame.
Pretty lame, if you ask me. It's like fucking hell, guys. A bit gross.
Wow. Crikey.
Fucking hell. Not at the dinner table. But
That's
yeah, I think it's just like because I guess Jeff Bezos and his wife split.
Yeah, that was what I immediately thought of.
Yeah.
What's happening.
Well, yeah, so we can talk about billionaires because a fair bit's happened because now we've had Bill and Melinda Gates, that whole thing, Elon Musk hosting SNL.
Yeah,
But I guess it's like I've heard some rumors that it might be to do with Bill Gates' relationship with Epstein or something.
Do you think?
That could be something linked into it?
What? Yeah, that he was tied with her.
Yeah, but then it's like if you're going out, is Melinda a hottie?
Let's find out.
Should we find out? Because it's like, I don't know. Bill is the richest man in the world.
I think she is, actually.
Melinda doesn't sound like she... Yeah, she's fine. She's fine looking, for sure. But I guess it's like, when you date the richest guy in the world, big brain, he doesn't seem like a fun guy to date.
He doesn't seem like he's getting the sack.
No, he doesn't at all. And also, it's like, it's like, when you conceptualize how much money he has, he's like... via some metrics, he's the richest person who's ever lived.
Yeah. Not my metrics.
Ours is about moral fortitude. Yeah. He does dress like utter shite. It's like amazing.
It's a sweater vest.
It's a sweater vest, shirts, like fat kind of trousers, but like suit trousers type things. And it's like, I just think if you're like a big back support shoes.
If you were Bill Gates, what would you wear?
Exactly. And but like,
no, it's a question.
If I was that rich, or if I was Bill Gates,
but you're still gonna be Bill Gates.
I've got to be Bill Gates. So I'm working with that. I'm working with that lunch lady ass.
Exactly.
He's packing. He's packing ham and cheese down in the nether regions. He's got like a real like librarian waddle.
Also, can we stop calling bums dump trucks? Thank you.
Do you not like dump truck?
No, I hate it.
Do you not like it?
I don't want to talk about it.
We don't like dump truck because what? Dump truck going in reverse, you know?
Yeah, but it's also like a truck that you dump from. And it's meant to be sexy. It's not. It's disgusting.
Well, as we talked about, is the hilarious thing about bumps is that they're like a main sexual that you also shite out of them.
Yeah, you really do.
Know?
Yeah.
King K with her big oily ass. You do know she's shot out that thousands of times.
Maybe millions.
Millions. Probably not millions.
Maybe not.
Hundreds of thousands. A lot of Kim K's shat out her ass a lot. And I just it is funny.
Not quite millions.
Not quite millions. He did a quick number crunch.
You were safe.
If I was Bill Gates, how would I dress? I think he's got an unfortunate body shape.
Yeah.
I would, first off the bat, if you're any one of these nerdy guys, it's really easy to get some fresh frames. He's got those kind of shitty, like nothing e-glasses.
Yeah.
I would probably do like a sort of, if I'm gonna dress like I don't give a shit, which is the kind of way, millionaires of the past would have big bare skin and it would all be about showing your wealth and it's it's kind of huge. They dress like gangster rappers. Now the tech billionaires, they dress like they work in like IT for 30k a year. But if I was him, I'd probably go for that kind of don't give a fuck thing. I'd wear like 3/4 length cargo shorts, big pockets.
I think your answer to any of these questions is always 3/4 length cargo shorts.
3/4 length cargo shorts.
I don't think you've ever started an outfit joke without
3/4 length cargo shorts, big pockets.
Yeah.
And so big that I have a full-sized iPad.
Yes, because big pockets aren't funny unless you fill them up.
But not because you're not filled up with loads of little things like it's a handbag. Just one giant thing that's like a big.
I'd fill them up with M&Ms. So one, it would be a jangly kind of noise as I walk, but also a sneaky, just like talking to someone. Yeah, so these general elections.
And then sort of like a Guy Fieri flaming t-shirt, spiked hair up, these sort of sunglasses. That's how I.
That's good.
That would be Bill Gates'
I like it.
divorce rebound style.
Yes.
Like the new
do you think he's going to change his look?
He's got like kind of weak hair. It just doesn't seem like it's that strong, but I'd still spike it up anyway.
Yes.
And it has like a nothingy brown grey texture, so it'd look kind of weird. I'd do like blonde frosted tips, flame shirt like it's a year 8 disco.
Flame shirt, yeah.
I'm 3/4 length chinos, but also with a you can tighten the bottoms of them.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
So you got the thing that you can do that.
Oh yeah, the toggle.
And then socks and that.
Because what are trousers without a toggle? I think this could be, instead of what would you wear, Bill Gates, I think that should be what he should wear now. He's back on the market.
Sure. What would you wear now you're back on the market?
I think he should be utilising tassels more.
Okay, go on.
So I think, those 70s maybe leather jackets with the tassels, or go to like suede with the tassels, just loads of tassels. Yeah. But we're not stopping there with the tassels. We also wear the tasseled trousers. Yeah. So he looks like one of those Scooby-Doo monsters. Yeah. Or like when people dress up as a mummy with loo roll paper. One of the Scooby-Doo swamp.
So not
monster.
like a cool 70s cowboy. He looks like a Halloween costume.
Like, why is he wearing that many tassels? That's what he wants to question.
A slight, like, is that a lot of tassels or so many tassels? It's like, okay, this is like, he looks like Lady Gaga. Or do you think uncomfortable?
The swamp monster from Scooby-Doo. And then tassels on his hat as well, coming down. So,
wait, can I compromise with you and say, like snipers in like jungles, suits. And they have to wear the suits where they dress like a bush. Yeah. What are you thinking to that?
Great.
Do you think that's an option? A ghillie suit? But I don't know. That might be quite weird.
He can wear that at home.
Yes,
so when he's out in public, it can't be like, what, has he lost his mind? Yeah. Well, it will be like he's lost his mind. Yeah. But he's like, why? Because I don't want the question to be, why is he wearing a ghillie suit? Because it's like, who's he trying to hide from? It's quite funny. Yeah. But I want it to be like he's trying to start a new trend.
But I wonder. So there's a TikTok trend where you have like outfit inspo, and it'll be like seeing the boys at the park, and it'll be them with their outfit, and then it'll have like some like quite bouncy music, and then it'll cut to like just kicking it on a Sunday, and it'll change the outfit.
So he'll
do a jump. So no, it's the same dude or woman, and then they'll jump and cut as they're in air, and they'll change outfits to show what they'd wear. You know? If I was a teacher, this is what I'd wear on Monday, on Friday, and stuff like that. I think Bill Gates should do that.
How can
this is what I'd wear at home, ghillie suit.
Got to be incredible.
Yeah. But billionaires are back on the marketplace. Elon did fucking SNL,
and I loved every second of it.
Did you? Because you're a big Elon guy. That was Andrew's first BGW episode was to talk about Elon Musk.
I loved every.
Did you watch it?
I've watched enough. I watched some of the monologue and like almost all the live sketches because as soon as I saw the monologue, it was like I cannot wait to see him in situational comedy. It was so Elon. For any sketch he'd do, what would happen? He'd come in, he'd enter the scene, and if it wasn't his line, he stands there and he doesn't do anything. And as soon as his line comes, he talks like that, and he kind of really overcompensates with trying to pretend what a human does when talking and delivering a line, and then they never hit. But that was why they were hilarious.
Were they really funny?
Best SNL for like 5 years.
Really?
100%. 100%.
What? And him with like the normal SNL cast.
Yeah.
It's like these
and you
can
like, see
these guys who are like been razor sharp have spent their whole lives
and
tightening, and then seeing just
someone with no chops whatsoever. He's got nothing.
Literally no chops.
And to be honest, SNL is kind of shit nowadays.
Oh, it's been shit for a while.
So the reason why it's even better is just because I feel like that's the only way they can make it good again.
It was a bit like when we did our last episode, where it's like the podcast has been shit for a while, and it's like Andrew getting punched in the face was like Elon
something
Musk.
Fresh.
It was like it was a last chance saloon.
Yeah, you're bang on. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here, because I think it's a great concept for a sketch show, just to get people on who can't act.
Can't act is the constant thing. Well, I think SNL have to accept that they're not what they used to be anymore.
Yeah,
so you kind of need these kind of.
You've got to go gimmicky.
But what was his monologue? Was he telling jokes?
He did. He told, obviously written for him.
Yeah.
There were a couple of, again, it was, he just can't, just go and watch his delivery. It's just a joy to watch.
Because he's got Asperger's.
He does, and he came out of having Asperger's.
Shock horror. Everyone must have been super surprised.
No way.
What?
We all know. Obviously, big round of applause.
It's a bit of Philip Schofield moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came out to a big round of applause of it, because obviously it's brave to come out and say, etc. But like everyone has been talking about it quietly for ages. It's like the first thing you think when you see it. It is
funny when it's like, because it's like lefties. I love it when lefties get confused. They're like, billionaire bad, Asperger's good.
He probably did that to kind of counteract the negative thing.
Because there's tweets saying like,
so much?
We aren't all be making fun of him. I know he exploits workers and stuff, but it's actually really hard being Asperger's, and that's important.
Yeah. So go and do this comedy show. Fucking hell. What? Because what was all the furore about? Like, because it's just because he's a billionaire and exploits workers. But
Yeah.
I guess we can't ever forget that he called a Thai cave hero a pedo, but that is the best content of the last 15 years.
Yeah, I have a tough for it because it's like, obviously, you know, billionaires get a bad rap, and I certainly think, you know, though billionaires have caused a lot of problems and they're getting worse in general. Because, you know, back in the day when you had billionaires like Rockefeller, you had billionaires like Carnegie, like Getty, they were like these sort of industrialists.
Mr.
Selfridge, you know, there'd be like sort of these aspirational figures who might exploit workers for sure, but there would at least be a sort of aspirational side to them where they kind of build things. But now a lot of billionaires are sort of, they seem not to be those sort of industrialists. They seem to be kind of like hoarders, dragons who hoard wealth and sort of like squeeze people out of markets and monopolize. And they're not aspirational anymore.
I mean, you know? Musk is trying to take men.
That's what I mean. So that's why Musk, I'm resonant to be too much of a critic for Musk. Because I'm like, we're gonna have billionaires. They might as well be elongated musket.
Musket. And he actually addressed that. He kind of said that in his monologue. He was like, he addressed some of the comments he makes on Twitter and stuff, and he was like, I'm joking, basically. But then he'd also said, why I'm trying to take us to Mars. I reinvented the electric car. What do you want from me?
It's kind of fair, you know, because why do people hate him?
Because they don't understand him.
Because they don't understand.
I don't know, because he's rich. And I
kind of like him, and
I find him because he's hilarious.
He's hilarious, dude.
He's mental. It's so great.
But he's also like unbelievably talented.
But then part of it because he did get a massive inheritance from his family, so this isn't all come out of nowhere. But then
a lot of people have got massive inheritance from their families. Loads of people.
It's true, and he has
a lot of people, and very few people.
Yeah,
you know, people use that a lot, and I'm like, but so did a lot of people. Not many people got us to Mars. Might get us to Mars.
Yeah, no, which is 100% true. But I think, you know, you're still allowed to be frustrated at like the unequal nature of society in that way. But it doesn't take anything away from his.
I don't know.
But then I don't know why you'd focus your anger at him rather than the system.
Also, we like PayPal. We're big PayPal boys.
Big PayPal boys.
We like it.
If you don't have if I owe you money and you don't have PayPal, you ain't getting it.
Famously.
Grow up.
Famously, loads of people don't have PayPal.
I love watching them go through.
We're doing like £5 things. You don't need to defend that. You don't need to keep that safe from like hackers. It's like a £5 transfer a lot of the time.
It's done.
And it's like, I'm not typing in your account number, sort code, and trying to get your name right.
Grow up.
Fucking ridiculous.
Grow up.
And big PayPal boys. Well done, Elon.
Yeah, and it's always fun watching people go through the different identity verification things and they make a PayPal account just so I can transfer them £5.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Because I you do want the benefit of having that much kind of private wealth, or having like overall it's a disaster. But if you're gonna have people doing that, you want them doing mental shit.
Yeah.
You know. If I look at like, I don't know, Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest men ever. He's this boring old dude.
Yeah.
Who's just played all his investments right and just kept building his wealth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want someone who's just like, I'm going to fucking build a rocket or something like that. Yeah. You kind of need, because otherwise
you want to be entertained.
It's hard because at the moment you can't imagine that being funded through a government in the same way, because there's too much bureaucracy to get through. You need some fucking mentalist.
You do, yeah.
Well,
you want to come along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly.
So although we'll never be in a situation to live his lifestyle.
No.
At least share some of the tomfoolery with the world.
But I guess the problem with Elon Musk, which is partly why he does this, which is different to other billionaires, which will, I think, be his undoing and be why he'll lose out in the Billionaire Boys Club battle.
Yeah.
Is because he's clearly incredibly insecure about how the public.
Yes.
So like on Rogan, he was talking about like selling all his houses because he was sick of everyone saying that he was like, he took the negative criticism. You know, Bezos doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a shit. He's a classic baddie.
He's just a baddie, and it's like people always saying this shit, that shit. He'll never come out. He'll never try and change his public image. Yeah. He's just not going to do that. He's fine. You know?
Yeah.
And you know he doesn't seem insecure in the same way. He just seems psychotic.
Yeah.
And then Elon can't stand the idea that because he sees himself as like an Iron Man-esque hero.
Yeah.
So he can't stand the fact that he might be treated as like the problem.
Literally Iron Man.
So that's why he's done SNL. That's why he's, dating Grimes. That's why he's doing all this kind of thing.
Well, the Grimes thing is fascinating. You think he's dating Grimes purely because he's scared of what the public think of him?
Partly, for sure. I'm sure she's a great gal as well.
Yeah.
But I can imagine. I think he's a bit of a catch for sure. But I think it just would be a stilted convo with the man. I wouldn't mind having Elon as part of my rat pack.
Do you think?
I wouldn't want him to be my closest friend.
No, you need him.
But I want him as like
part of a larger circle.
And he'd need to be. I want him to be like low down in the rankings.
Yeah, so
like, he wants to be like the
feels
full
the
guy.
Confidence to say something once every 10 minutes,
and he gets slated for it.
And he gets bullied.
So like in the kind of the kind of 6-person lad group, Elon would be the guy who like would be the last person to get invited.
Yeah,
he's kind of hanging on.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, I guess so. I feel bad not inviting.
There's a couple of discussions behind his back as to whether we should kick him out or not.
We had a friend who we weren't a big fan of, but he drove a car.
Yeah. That's true.
And Elon would be that friend of ours.
Yeah.
Who he is a billionaire who's building rockets.
He's a tool.
He's a tool
for us.
Yeah.
Because like he might do some odd comments and make some people feel uncomfortable at the pub, but then in a few years we might be able to go to Mars. So
that's true.
He's a good guy to hang around with.
Yeah. What else happened in the news? The elections. Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
What are your thoughts?
Go
on.
Well, I found the Keir Starmer thing quite funny. Just how it's sad, And I said on my.
Is he getting fatter? Sorry.
He looks like he's been pumped up.
Yeah.
He feels filled with air as opposed to fat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like there's something about him that looks different, and I guess
he's got a bit of a fuckboy haircut, but he's kind of a fat nerd.
He is he's absolutely.
He's got this kind of like squeaky voice, and it's like, yes, we need to,
Yeah.
And it is amazing that it's like there's a lot of problems with Corbyn, and he politically is a disaster. In many ways, there's an actual doing politics the game,
power,
and then you got all right. We're going to get someone who can do politics, might not have any good values, and then he's done politics arguably even worse than Corbyn, which has been extraordinary.
So which is an odd one, because when there was that the sleaze gate. Also, let's stop calling everything a fucking gate.
Yeah, that needs to stop.
It's just, it devalues the word.
Yeah.
It devalues Watergate.
Yeah.
It devalues everything that has been, because now I don't know what to gauge things. Because sleaze gate, it's not a gate. It's not a gate.
It's not a gate. Yeah,
some things have been a gate. Some things have been a gate, but not sleaze gate.
What has been a gate? Pedo gate? Was that a gate? Elon Musk.
Pedogate was the biggest news story of the 21st century.
Yeah.
So
that's a gate.
But unfortunately, it's not a gate.
Okay.
I'm trying to. What would be? I can't expenses.
Epstein gate.
Yeah, that's a fucking gate.
That's the gate.
That's a gate.
Yeah.
That's a gate. Not
expenses were a gate.
Yeah, expenses were a gate. But we can't. Sleaze gate is not a gate. We should only be able to use
Boris Johnson renovating his apartment. That's not a gate.
It's not a gate. I'm sure there's some problems with it. Yeah. Come on, guys.
It's not a gate. Let's stop throwing gate around.
Because otherwise it's meaningless.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Stop using gate and stop calling your bums dump trucks. That's all I want to get out of this. But so when that was all happening, Keir Starmer did a photo opportunity. He went into a shop that I've forgotten it, but I'll say for the purposes of the podcast, we can't name it for copyright reasons. So they went into the nameless shop and then posed next to some pictures of carpets and did as a kind of like satire of Boris Johnson's renovation of the apartment.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind that. That's all right. And then everyone went in on him for playing politics and doing something that he said he'd never do. So that's not playing. He's just making a fucking joke.
Okay.
Is it playing politics, that?
Okay, I don't know the story.
So part of that is because there's always like, I don't like him, but it's kind of impossible for him to ever be successful, I think. Because of something that is like a striking example of it. Because if Boris did that, people would fucking go mental for it. They think it's funny because they see the funny side of it immediately. But because Keir Starmer does that and a Labour or a left-wing politician does it, you're completely taken apart for it. Yeah,
it's true. I find the whole situation kind of like it's borderline triggering because it simultaneously happened with the collapse of Arsenal Football Club, and the similarities are so stark where it feels like no matter who's at the helm now, it just feels like constant losses getting, you know, Corbyn, the 2019 Corbyn election loss, that felt like a low. That was like when Arsenal finished 8th. next season 10th. It just feels like you get a new guy in, still the same issues.
The bottom floor is going even lower.
It just keeps going lower, and I think it can still keep going lower.
And we've become accustomed to a certain amount of tragedy and sadness in our
It's
life.
true. Well, it's Starmer represents the sort of... I saw Navarra Media did quite a good thing where they linked it to this Simpsons satire of the Democrats. This is back in like the 90s, where it was like it was a Democratic convention, and it was like the big banner says, "We hate ourselves. We're not as good as the other guys." And it's like he sort of represents the sort of limp left, which is like this weird selling thing, which is like we're awful, but if you vote for the other guy, you're racist.
They're even worse.
You're a piece of shit.
And
it's like this kind of weird, like self-hating, self-loathing, no real scope or ambition. Just the other guy's bad, isn't he? Isn't he? Please, like I know I'm not good. I know I'm not great.
Well, it's become this kind of destruction of any concept of choice because it's like a negative. It's like a negative choice rather than a positive choice.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to offer anything.
The lesser of two evils rather than actually voting or making a decision about something that you genuinely believe in.
Yeah, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, I don't know, maybe we should just like split the Labour Party up into a different party, because it's like, even speaking to like a lot of friends of mine who are like hated Corbyn. Just can't stand him, think he's awful. And they supported Starmer and that whole lot. I'm like, I just don't. To me, we're just different. We have different values. I just don't think we belong in the same party. Do you know what I mean? It's just and I'm just running out of. I don't know. Maybe that's like politically the wrong move, but it just feels like
it is.
For me, Starmer to me is in many ways seems closer to Boris Johnson than Corbyn. For all intents and purposes.
Establishment S figures.
And I kind of like. I just want to take away the safety blanket of. People in like media who sort of want to vote Tory, but they want the they can like hide behind the Labour thing.
But that's kind of the whole problem with it, because that's what we're talking about, having a negative choice or a positive one. You know what I mean with that? When you're choosing between the lesser of two evils, that is a consequence of a two-party system, which we basically have. Because the problem with it, we're ever going to dissolve that into kind of, but we have parties like that, like the Green Party or Plaid Cymru in Wales or something.
Plaid Cymru.
Maybe they should be the ones we should go through.
It'd be great if they somehow
won. Plaid Cymru, please. No, they're not. Well, I'd like to vote for them, please. I love if we just hung up Plaid Cymru.
With your sunglasses like this, can I vote for Plaid Cymru?
Excuse me, I'm not seeing the Plaid Cymru box.
What, from your voting booth?
Yeah,
there's been
peeking over.
There's
been some sort of a problem because I'm not seeing my representative of Plaid Cymru. but like we have those parties who are, but then just the lack of power that you will have behind them is just the Tories will just sweep it every time.
Yeah,
which is because like we're talking about more radical left wing ideas, which are a lot more popular than radical right wing ideas because the Nazis existed.
Sure.
So like that's why the Conservatives
ruined it for them.
They really ruined it.
Such a good
if
role.
The Nazis
maybe the radical right wing. They really before they even got a chance to show themselves. The Nazis.
If the Nazis didn't happen, the Conservative Party would be as fragmented as the Labour Party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because then they'll still have some nuts being like fascism could work.
Yeah.
And then they'd have a fascist faction of the Conservative Party.
I just don't know. It seems so. It's so. Because it's a local election, it just wouldn't hit. Because I remember 2019, that election hit so hard. It really felt so bleak. And this one, it felt slightly funny.
Yeah.
But it's actually really bleak, thinking that, so Johnson gets in, everyone wants Johnson in, has an awful time in office, disaster.
Yeah.
A lot of things just completely fucked. And then they like him even more now. And
yeah.
It's just like, what do you even do?
What do you do? Yeah, there's nothing you really can do.
But there's not even any talent.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That's all the left needs.
Well, I'm going to run for the Green Party.
Well, you're going to run for the Green Party with your
and then then we'll be fine.
It seems like when people ask about what's all these things, the baseline, what we need more than anything is just talent.
Just raw skill.
Talent.
Like a political obstacle course.
Yeah, exactly. Blair had talent. He did the values I don't agree with, but he had fucking talent. We just need someone with fucking talent.
Yeah.
Because Starmer, basically, if
like
you're
juggling,
like nunchuck skills.
Because it's hard enough. Like I get that you have some ideals, but like, can you do it on a jug? Can you do it on a juggling stage?
Yeah.
What do you like with magic?
But I find it funny that the whole base of that tiny like group of centrists whose values are like Cameron, Blair, Starmer. It's like if you're going to have like go whichever way the prevailing wind is and not really have any sort of values, you sort of need to. The one side thing is that you win. You know, that's your skill.
Otherwise, what have you done?
What have you done? Blair Cameron, fine. They won. They're winners. Right, You know, Cameron fucked it, but they were still winners. So Starmer believing in nothing and then just getting fucked. It's like you've got literally nothing.
Yeah, because if you can stand for nothing morally, but you at least have to stand for winning.
Yeah, it's like at least Corbyn stood for something and got fucked and lost, for it. But you can at least leave saying, I tried. I believe in something.
They weren't ready. Keir, when Keir gets booted out, having never got to any place near power.
It's like why you were only here for votes.
What was the point of you?
I have no idea.
No.
I don't even know
I think he gets home.
Who's the next person.
No, but we're not that well entrenched in party politics.
I find it very boring, actually.
Because I'm interested in it. I've studied it, but like the whole aspect of the different individuals in it.
Yeah, and they all look a bit weird.
And they're all, and you don't, it's not the whole, you can't trust any of them anyway, but they're all just presenting this certain idea of themselves that isn't actually the truth. So it's hard to do.
And it's like people are saying I just think it's who'd want to get into politics now. When you see it, it's just not very appealing.
Well, our friend Alfie, when Brexit happened, he said, and it was a very bleak time when. In all seriousness, it's like, well, I think I'm going to have to put my politics coat on now, get into the business, get that sorted out, dusted off.
Yeah, so and then Trump happened later and he didn't do it.
I'd love to see Alfie run to a Prime Minister run. But what I think Keir Starmer's the kind of person, I see him going back after every single day and staring himself in the mirror for about 10 minutes, just in silence, and then just leaving and walking away.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
We're not even saying something motivational.
No, and there's nothing going on in his head either. It's just staring into the mirror. If you had to give Keir Starmer a political nickname that's akin to a boxing nickname, what would it be?
Beefy Beer Starmer.
Okay.
What would you give it?
Keir Starmer, the potato farmer.
Keir Starmer,
a potato farmer.
It's not. Neither are quite hardcore, but no. I think I like the idea that Starmer's sort of like kind of potters about and he goes around the country and there's just not much going. It seems like he's clearly a very intelligent man. He's like he's like knighted barrister, but it just seems politically he's just sort of been like pottering about. And I think he's just on the train sometimes like, oh. Nice.
I was going to say.
Is that a blue tip?
Oh, no,
it's nice that you see that in the north of the country more than the south. You just kind of go.
As in the awkward guy who has nothing to say. A lot of conversations. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. You? Yeah. Anyway, it's been good. Yeah.
Going to give Boris Johnson a real run at it. Okay, there's some other stuff's happened. Brit Awards happened this week, and I feel both of us had similar amounts of apathy as we've had to local elections and just things in general.
Yeah. I remember used to be excited about them tuning in, and I don't know whether that's a sign of aging, or whether it's just the fact that they're becoming increasingly irrelevant.
It's true. It's like when I grew up and I watched the Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant Doctor Who's, and I was like, these were good, and then the Matt Smith ones were awful, and I was like, is this because I'm growing up, or is it because it's getting shitter?
Shit, yeah.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
I think, yeah, as most things are, to be honest. But because it's also, I don't know, it's not my kind of, well, I guess because pop music is almost taken off more, maybe, now recently, because like you used to just have the kind of the band.
Rock music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's like you used to enjoy, as you were saying earlier, actually, like the craziness of the Britpop bands going in.
Yeah, you used to have like drunken fights would happen. It was like it was a centre of where the drama and goss, which is like, you know, and then people would have being appalled at people. But that's what it's for. It's like it should be a centre of debauchery because it's trying to like. It was like, what's
Pete Doherty wearing? What did Russell Brand say? Those are the days.
And now it's like, Dua Lipa has a fish on her head. Wow.
Yeah, whoa. Oh my God. But someone in that, because Harry Styles, can we talk about him?
Sure.
I like him. Mm-hmm. I fancy him.
He's hot.
He's a hot little boy, and I'd chew him up in a second.
Yeah.
I like his outfits. We can talk about the outfits now, but he would be so much better for me if his music wasn't garbage. His music is, and I don't know, it's so bad. It's some of the worst music I've ever heard in my life. There's one
Watermelon Sugar.
That's all it is. It's a perfect name for it because that's what his music is. Watermelon sugar. It's poppy, sugary nonsense with no substance.
The aesthetics are great. The outfits are great. The album covers are great.
The music is shocking.
He seems cool in interviews.
Yeah. I like him a lot.
But it's the same with most pop stars. I like Billie Eilish. I like
her music bangs.
I don't think it does.
It does.
I've seen you playing it, and I disagree.
It bangs. Billie Eilish music bangs.
I saw someone comment under her latest song and said "sad twerking," which made me really laugh.
Yeah, no, I like no, like not. Don't get me wrong, not all of it bangs. Like I don't like some of the sadder stuff, but there are way too many bangers to not say her music does. Her music bangs completely. It really does.
I fully disagree.
You are in. Well, I'm not. You're in the minority. Isn't really an interesting point given her global success. But
I don't know.
Give her another listen.
You like?
Yeah, I don't know the names of them.
Okay.
But like her Bond theme tune is a banger.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
And there's like 6 others that are really good.
Yeah.
But you know what I like with names.
I like her kind of aesthetic of the kind of she dresses how I think her old style is I dress how I think Bill Gates should dress after his divorce. The kind of baggy trousers, baggy sweatpants, kind of like that.
Yeah.
And what did you think of the big reveal of her new outfit? Did you see it?
I did, yeah. The Vogue cover.
Yeah.
Well, because she said a lot of thing about not showing her body and stuff, which, you know, I can't, again, that's why she's, I think, a massive pop star at the moment, or famous, just because she's doing things really differently.
That's what I like, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
All apart from the music is kind of where I stand.
It's a shame, because the music's great.
Don't think it is, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan.
But because I rated the thing of her basically saying I'm a child, so I'm not going to sexualize myself. That's all great. And then there's the big moment where she's like, I'm a woman now. Here's my breasts, you know? And I'm like, good for you.
Look upon them, for they are here.
I have flowers.
Shit! I am here.
Here are my breasts.
Feast your eyes.
Look upon them and weep.
Yeah, but fair enough. It's badass.
And I was disappointed in the cover. Because it's cool, but you had such a great opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like...
Did you want to like a clown outfit?
No, it's the great unveiling of Billie Eilish's breasts. You know, this is an iconic moment. This is like, you know, when the Queen pulls the thing and the red thing reveals the new statue or something. It's like, this is it. If I was styling that... what it is, it's the big unveiling.
Yeah,
it's like she's now 19, so you can overcome. It's just
so you could ogle her. Then.
Well, partly. Well, she's 19, so it's now like okay, you can now start using that to sell things. It's no longer this fucked up thing.
Yeah.
And I just feel if I was styling her, you know. I found the whole kind of like...
What would you style
She looked like she was like one of the abandoned toys in Pinocchio was sort of the aesthetic they went for. She looked great.
I liked it.
I don't know. It didn't slap as hard as it should.
What would you have styled her in? Because I've got one word for you.
What?
Tassels.
Tassels. You do your Bill Gates thing. I do...
you do your Bill
the ghillie suit. I'll do the ghillie suit.
But with holes cut.
Just for the breast, yeah. But yeah, sorry. Back to the Brits.
The grand unveiling of Billie Eilish's breast.
Well, it was. For all intents and purposes.
I know.
And that's not even. Undermining her. And that's not saying that's like.
No, but there was.
She's just trying to say.
It was to
she's a pop star. You get your waps out.
There was such a cultural conversation about them as well. And it was like no skin of her.
And there was a complete hysteria on both sides. And both times I was like, it's not the biggest deal, but you know, you got the Sun going like she's sold out. She's a whore now.
Was really?
Well, before that, the Sun were saying that she's hiding her body because it's horrible. She's just not hot enough to pull it off. And now she's like, they're like, get back in the Guy Fieri outfits.
It's pathetic, isn't it?
But yeah, the Brits. It feels just like with the general kind of crushing of culture. It feels like culture's moving faster than ever and in no direction. So it's just like every, do you know, like in the 80s, it would like, you know, music would move gradually over a decade. Now every 2 weeks a decade happens, but it's a decade that's already happened.
Yes.
So it's like all outfits, music and stuff is just crashing the 60s, 70s, 80s and 50s into something, and it's something new every... I was even hearing like apparently with like fashion cycles, it used to be like an 18-month cycle, and now it's like a 2-week cycle of what's...
It is fucking crazy.
But then fashion used to be 18 months, then something new would come. Now old things are stitched together And it's like it's not new, but it's just different.
It's slightly
every
different,
2 weeks.
yeah.
And
Because
so you see that kind of hellscape.
Can't keep up with it.
And it's because the internet. The Beatles
haircut
blew up in the 60s for anyone else because they were in Liverpool because it was docks. The music from America arrived there before anywhere else. Stuff like that. Now that doesn't mean anything because it's the internet. Yeah. The internet means that we see everything all the time.
Everywhere.
Billie Eilish's breasts, we'll see them. You can't hide anything. It's nothing's hidden.
Yeah.
The only thing that was hidden was Billie Eilish's breasts. And now that's not even hidden.
So it's a horrible.
We live in a hellscape.
So they're a horrible metaphor for the decline in anything that could be considered sacred.
Well, that was the last thing.
That was the last thing we had.
We had Billie Eilish's breasts, and now everyone's seen them.
We need more mystery in the world.
We do need some more mystery in the world. I like Dua Lipa. So Dua Lipa's the other big pop star, it seems. And it's like she's like the most plasticky carbon copy pop star ever.
Yeah.
But some of her new songs.
You have to fill a void of that.
I feel her new songs are alright.
Exist.
And she's stupidly good looking.
Right.
She's stupidly good looking, I think.
Yeah.
Like stupidly so.
Is she stupidly? For you?
I'm like, for fuck's sake.
There's only one woman that's stupidly good looking in this
Was
world.
that Susanna Reid?
It's Eva Longoria.
That's because Andrew Reese says Susanna Reid was a 10.
Susanna Reid is a 10 out of 10.
Which is a fair statement.
Susanna Reid is gorgeous,
and she's like 55.
She's not Eva Longoria, but she's gorgeous.
These are some old school shouts.
And they are, which is I don't know why that isn't changing, but they're still changed. There. And Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
She does it.
These are women that I find so attractive that I can't watch the things that they're in because it's just too annoying.
Yeah, and it's tough. And we need to have an open space to discuss. And I'm a bit like that with Dua Lipa where it makes me feel uncomfortable because I feel sleazy.
It's just frustrating. It's annoying.
But I feel with Dua Lipa, I'm not like objectifying her.
No, my God, I'm worshipping the feet of these women.
It's like a goddess type thing.
Yeah.
There's women who are like, I think you can feel, oh God, I feel like I'm objectifying them because it's sexualized in a way where you can imagine yourself in a sexual relationship with them. But then there's people who are like, who are presented as so godlike. It's like, this is not a sexual thing.
They're not presented, they are.
This is like a.
I'm saying
Dua Lipa and you're saying
it's like
Susanna Reid. Susanna Reid.
No, Eva Longoria. But you are, when it's one where you are meant to, out of politeness, avert your eyes from the king or the queen. That's what you're doing. By switching off, it's like, I am not worthy of this divinity that you are providing me.
Anything else with the Brits? The Coldplay opened up for the Brits. Did you see their song?
Yeah, this song is horrible. But it's just why is Chris Martin opening the Brits? I mean, that's why it's becoming culturally relevant.
It's not cool.
Because they started with Coldplay on a roof.
Yeah.
I was hoping maybe they just sweep him off the roof.
Yeah, so because you've the hatred for Coldplay's quickened, but you've kind of been a day one.
I've been a day one hater.
You have. It's been a long term thing which you've stood by. To be fair to you, so you're not someone who's jumped on a bandwagon. You've sort of always thought they were kind of wet and. But I think they get a real tough ride of it because they get put in like the Imagine Dragons, Nirvana category of shit white people music, and I think that's completely unfair. I think they had four. Not Nirvana. Nickelback.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow. What a horrendous slip. Following your point. What?
Nickelback.
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons is genuine shite. But then Coldplay, they had 4 different albums, which is hard to do, which are all very good. And then they went into this new phase where like they became huge. Like everyone loved them all over the world. Because the thing is, their music's quite broad appealing. So like people in South America went fucking mad for it. And they're like huge everywhere. They do these world tours. So their later albums, they had this kind of the weird sort of vibe of their later albums where it was all like this kind of like Christian rainbow explosion, jumping up and down, paint aesthetic. Yeah. So like the later Coldplay, from their kind of each album, they do something kind of different, and I think they were great albums.
They went from subtly trying to be haunting to kind of mass stadium
like jumping,
fillers.
like
we're all happy about our lives. Let's sing about it.
Waterfalls and gold.
But war's bad.
Okay, everybody, let's go.
Let's get on your feet. Okay, everybody, in aggressively English. I mean? Let's get on your feet and really sing this one loud. Yeah, come on, boys.
And it's like, okay, Buenos Aires, are you ready to go crazy?
Are you ready to go crazy?
You see those kind of like stadium performances, and I think they also are very skilled at doing that. They do seem to like put on a good show.
Yeah.
But I do find it funny when it's like
they're a poor man's
when they're
Billy
jumping
Joel.
around. When you see. When you see the live shows of Coldplay, I do find it funny when they just play the song and then they're like, or they're starting something, and they go, "Let's go," and then it comes in. Everybody!
I used to rule
Buenos Aires, let's go!
Let's go, crazy!
I used to rule Buenos Aires. You know when they like...
The best, so talking about white people bands and music, the one band that we need to uncancel is Orson, just for their one song.
Oh, yeah. Well, 2 songs. No
song?
Tomorrow and... Fuck.
You have a look while I explain. No Tomorrow is maybe the best song that's ever been created. And it also has the best lyric in the history of our time. It is, funny hats, shiny pants, I'm in need for some romance.
It's great. That was That was on the...
Because it sums up a time. It sums up...
It really does.
That kind of
feels
fashion.
Like the last hurrah for British rock and roll.
I mean, we would never have gone to the clubs.
Bright idea.
Oh yeah, it's not No Tomorrow though.
It's not No Tomorrow.
We wouldn't have gone to the clubs and experienced the fashion of the noughties.
No.
But I don't even need to see pictures of it with funny hats, shiny pants.
That's the
I'm in need for some romance.
That's the noughties. That is the noughties. But yeah, it's the kind of the thing of this kind of like, oh, that's such white people music. And it's sometimes I find that grating when it's like, yes, but we are all white. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're in a group of, well, if we're like normally when we had these conversations, it's a group of like 15 white people and we're like,
too fucking
they're
right.
so fucking white, and it's like, yeah,
no,
but we are all white.
All of us are white. yeah,
that's such white people music. I'm like,
because what it is
you are white.
It's them justifying their insecurities about liking it.
Exactly, yeah. You know,
if
you're from like a black community, you're like, fuck that white shit. Fair enough.
But
if you're all white and you completely relate to it and you secretly
and
like
we know
it
full well 10
and
years
culturally
ago,
understand it fully,
and
don't act like it's like this other thing.
And we all know fully 10 years ago, you were banging that.
Of course, because you're white.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
and it was made for you.
Yeah, exactly. Just live. Just own it. Own it.
I always find it interesting when like BAME celebrities like have a weird thing where they like certain, like Chris Rock posted about the latest Mumford & Sons album, said such a good album, check track 7.
How?
Just the idea of Chris Rock listening to Mumford & Sons, even in his later one, just like kind of like flips my head upside down.
Yeah. Well, I guess people with BAME identities are able to enjoy that music without any of the kind of awkward, whatever I just said.
Yeah, because you can,
because they can listen to it without feeling the guilt that's associated with it.
Apparently, BAME's now stopped as a word.
Is it?
I'm glad. Well, I've heard someone come out and say BAME's no longer the word.
All right, what is the word?
I don't know, but I've always thought BAME was such a fucked... Like, when BAME came in, I was like, to me, this just sounds like you're saying other. Doesn't BAME basically sound like...
Othering.
Just other. Yeah. It's like, oh, he's BAME, he's other. It's like, okay, let's do a category for black, Asian, like 80% of the world.
Yeah.
It just always felt a bit like...
Yeah, because as soon as you're establishing, as soon as you mention or identify a particular group as something like that, then it suggests that they're outside of the normal.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't work.
So I'm glad it's finished, but we'll wait till we get told by, whatever the words to say.
This isn't a take that has any interest. It's not a hot take. It's not something that you're going to learn from. It's just a quick look into my psyche of when it first came out. I couldn't stop singing Fame. I'm going to live forever. So it's BAME. I'm going to live forever. I'm going to learn how to fly high.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I thought that could have been their kind of a theme song, but it's now not working. So we'll move on from that.
Uh,
Please don't end the show there.
See you guys next week.